Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Robert Donahue, Director, Resort Sales and Services, Disneyland Resort, and past President, PCMA Southwest and Pacific Chapter.
Hey, welcome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like a great hospitality event, the networking just won't stop. Please, if you get a chance to take your seat, that'd be great. We appreciate everybody being here. We also want to respect your time tonight. Officially, I'd like to welcome you to the PCMA Southwest and Pacific Chapter Dinner, honoring Bob Donovan. We're very grateful, actually, to Bob and to his organization and family and friends for allowing us to honor his commitment not only to the industry but to PCMA tonight. And I was making some notes earlier about letting everybody know why we're doing it, and actually thank you to Bob for the wonderful CD that is at everybody's table. And if you read that, actually, that's far better than I could do, frankly. So I can't wait to crack open some of the music on my way home on Wednesday to Anaheim. But thank you so much. And of course, thank you to our sponsors and all attendees here to show up and show your commitment to Bob and also to PCMA and the industry. It's also great to have the opportunity to network and see old friends and meet new friends as well. You know, my role as past president of the chapter, but my role really tonight is here to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for the evening. And we have many committed members within PCMA. I know many at the national level as well. And I think we would all agree, Bob's company included, is that Brian Stevens really shows up every day to support PCMA and certainly the industry as well. I don't think I know of a professional that gives more from a standpoint to the industry. And we as a chapter level are extraordinarily fortunate to have Brian's commitment. It happened several years ago. I kind of felt like we won the lottery, actually, to get Brian and to show you the level of commitment. I think it's pretty extraordinary, a senior leader in the industry accepting the opportunity to come into the a board of a chapter level. And we have since grown as a chapter. Our chapter is revitalized. Our volunteer efforts are moving forward. It's exciting times, and I just want to recognize Brian for that before he comes up. So again, thank you so much for your commitment for this evening. And with that, I'd like to bring up Brian Stevens, who will be the Master of Ceremonies for this fun evening tonight. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Stay on stage. Thank you. Robert, on behalf of the chapter, we want to thank you for your commitment this year as our president. And we have a small token of appreciation we'd like to give to you. This is the best bottle of champagne I could find.
It's a good one, then, I'm sure.
But congratulations on a great year.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Well, Bobby, tonight's your night. It's all about you tonight. And for many of you, you're going to learn a lot about Bob Donovan. In case you don't know, Bob is Catholic, so there will be a lot of Catholic jokes and Catholic isms tonight. So I just want to put that up out front. Many of you may have heard previously the gentleman who is going to do our invocation tonight. He used to be called Father Bill, and then he got married, and the Pope asked him to go by Mr. Bill, or Mr. Metzdorf. So anyway, I'd like to remind you, some of you, that Bill started Charity Direct. Interesting, Conference Direct, Charity Direct. And he was the executive director of that organization, which folded into Network for the Needy. And Network for the Needy was one of the things that Bob Donovan created when he was at PCMA on the board. So it's my honor and pleasure to introduce one of my best friends, Bill Metzdorf, for the invocation. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you to all for allowing me to come back and spend a little bit of time with many of you. The Acts of the Apostles is the book of the Christian scriptures that tells of the growth and development of the Christian communities in the years immediately following the death and resurrection of Jesus. That initial community was formed by the apostles who reflected what Jesus, their mentor, had lived throughout his life. That early community was characterized by individuals who had a very positive outlook, a willingness to help others without expecting anything in return, who displayed humility and had a strong work ethic that inspired volunteerism in others through their unselfish actions. Everyone was treated equally and with respect, and they were committed to the ongoing growth of the community through the recruitment and mentoring of new members. Well, tonight, we're here to honor a man who would have fit in perfectly in that early community and whose life and work have been a source of inspiration to many communities. The American Hospital Association, PCMA, and most importantly, his family. More than 10 years ago, Bob was honored by PCMA for work in the industry. That same year, 2001, the Greater Midwest chapter created the Robert J. Donovan Award for the outstanding meeting professional who exemplified the qualities of the man whose name it bears. Bob, it comes as no surprise that the attributes of the nominee for that award are so similar to the characteristics of the community established in the Acts of the Apostles. Your career, your whole life, has been a testament to serving others and inspiring them to use their gifts for the benefit of others. More than 20 years ago, you were one of the founders of PCMA's program, Feed the Needy, which Brian just referred to as the precursor to Network for the Needy. You are a very giving person. You always make time for others and always make sure that you pay attention to what's going on in the lives of those around you. And if I could speak personally for just a moment, when my father died just 3 weeks ago tonight, one of the first notes of condolence that I received was from Bob Donovan. You were always there for others, and we deeply appreciate it. You have such a positive outlook on life. Your sense of humor is legendary, and life at AHA is enhanced by the laughter and teasing that pervades the office environment. It is so obvious that you love your work. But the greatest love of your life is your family. How fortunate you are to have them all here tonight. Sara, you and Bob have been blessed with 3 great kids, Tim, Mike, and Nellie, and now the community of your family has grown to include 2 beautiful grandchildren as well, Maddie and Riley. It is a privilege to be here to share this honor for you. Like those who were fortunate enough to be members of the earliest Christian community mentioned in the Acts of the Apostles, we are privileged to share your wisdom and your expertise. You've also been involved in many communities beyond the meetings industry and your family. Your service on the board of the National Catholic Partnership on Disability demonstrates your commitment to those faced with a unique challenge in their life. So even though you don't draw attention to yourself, we can't help but notice what you have done and continue to do in each community of which you are a part. Now, you have said on many occasions, it's nice to be important, but more important to be nice. Well, tonight we recognize not only how nice you are, but also how important you are to us. Thank you for leading by example, for your positive outlook in business and in life, and for being a model for us all. And now let us pray. Good and gracious God, one day all of us look forward to hearing the words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Tonight, we ask your blessing upon the one who has lived by the saying, "Well done is better than well said." He has indeed been a good and faithful servant to so many of us, and in so doing has been the same to you. We ask you to bless Bob, Sara, Tim, Mike, Nellie, Maddie, and Riley, his work at AHA and PCMA. May he and Sara continue to enjoy safe travels. And so we ask your blessing upon the food that we now share. We make this prayer in your name. Amen.
I'd like to get the evening rolling a little bit, so if I could have your attention. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank so many of you for your donation this week, or this evening. Our chapter is very spread out. Many of you might not know that we go all the way from Hawaii to Arizona to Nevada to Southern California. So we have like one member per 400 miles. And so it's really difficult to get a chapter meeting together. And this is probably the biggest chapter meeting we've ever had, as a matter of fact. So what we use the money for that we're raising is to encourage planners who cannot afford to go to meetings to come to ours. And so the money that we're raising tonight will go to scholarships, for the most part, to people in our industry who are potential members, and then also students that are in our industry. Tonight, I am very pleased to say that if our arithmetic is correct, we've raised $57,000 for the chapter. So thank you. I'd like to give you a peek at who the platinum and the gold sponsor tables are tonight. First is the American Hospital Association. Thank you very much. New York City and Company is a platinum sponsor. Now, I also have to tell you this story about how we got here to this hotel. We did an RFP to the 3 major hotels in San Diego, and I came into this hotel, and I walked into the general manager's office, Peter Lynn, and I said, Peter, we'd like to have this event in San Diego, and it's going to the lowest bidder. And so Peter didn't ask me what the other bids were. He simply took a yellow pad, threw it across the table with a pen, and said, write down how much you want to spend. I said, you're joking, right? He said, no, I'm not. I trust you. So I wrote down $50. And I said, I want a really nice dinner with an open bar. I gave him all the stuff. And he said, fine, we'll do it. And so that's how we got here. So they're a platinum sponsor. He might have said something like anything for Bob Donovan. He might have added that. The American Audio Visual Center, which did this wonderful staging tonight, I think for free. So thank you to them for this wonderful stage. And then we have the silver sponsors, Cochran Exhibits, Inc. Oh, I know, and back to the gold. New York Marriott Marquis, and their general manager is here. It's always good to see general managers at PCMA. We've got a lot of them in the room, I noticed, too. AVMG are the folks who you'll see a little bit later. We did a video for Bob, and they're the ones that powered that. So in advance, we'd like to thank them for their gold sponsorship. I'm not going to be able to go through. We'll be here all night if I go through the silvers, but we're going to scroll those during the evening on the screen. But thank you. We have a little surprise for you, Bob. Although I'm not quite certain with all of your contacts if anything's really a surprise. So there's a large number of people that were not able to make it tonight. And you may have gotten the idea from listening to Bill Metzdorf that Bob Donovan is a joiner, and I'm a joiner. And we actually enjoy joining. But we're in the minor leagues compared to the next guy I'm going to introduce. He loves to join groups and clubs and more clubs. And he is the chairman right now of the National Partnership for Disability Foundation. And he's also a dear friend, and he is going to reveal this surprise that we have for you, Bob, tonight. So without further ado, my good friend Joe Popolo, president of Freeman Decorating, Freeman Companies. Freeman. It's like, and also with your spirit.
Thank you, Brian. It's absolutely great to be here with you all tonight and to honor Bob. And I have been down here, folks in the Southwest and Pacific chapter, you'll be happy to know I've been down here for 3 days and I want to join your chapter. I'm leaving Lone Star. We're getting out of Texas. We're coming here. And thankfully for all of you tonight, I will be very brief, but I just did want to make a couple of comments. As Brian mentioned, in addition to my being able to work alongside of Bob and with Bob at PCMA, I have also had the pleasure of working with Bob on the board of the foundation of the National Catholic Partnership on Disability. And just as Bob has given so much to so many of you and to PCMA and the PCMA community, always volunteering to help others, giving of himself, helping to lead organizations, helping to guide people, mentoring and contributing in so many ways, Bob has done the same as a trustee and now the treasurer of the foundation of NCPD. And it has truly been a pleasure to work with Bob. As you know him, he is gracious and funny, thoughtful, wise, and truly always giving of himself. And he has helped us fulfill our mission of ensuring that all folks with disabilities can have meaningful participation in their life and in the life of the church. And so, Bob, it's just truly been an honor to work with you both at PCMA and at NCPD. So to honor you, Brian and I foolishly decided that we would match the donations of your friends to NCPD, thinking that your friends are cheap and they wouldn't give any money. So unfortunately for Brian and me, but fortunately for you and for NCPD, your friends have ponied up $10,000 to give to the foundation. So Bob, thank you very, very much, and congratulations. Please don't tell my wife that I'm about to pull out a check here for $10,000 in your name. So that this is the match from Brian and me to the foundation. And I would like to now ask up the executive director of the foundation and NCPD, Jan Benton, to accept this check in your honor on behalf of your friends, and then to just give us a minute about NCPD. So Bob, congratulations and thank you.
Well done. Go ahead, Jan. Go ahead.
I want to thank Brian and Joe so much for all the generous support and everybody who did contribute. I want to congratulate Bob on the award that he got. I'm really pleased to be here to celebrate this with you this special evening. I'm also pleased to thank the other members of the Catholic Disability Foundation Board who are here, Jerry Horan and Jim Klaus and Peggy Murilli. Brian was our founding chair of the board, and Joe currently serves, but we're looking forward. We're very excited to anticipate Bob's leadership. He'll start as a chair in May, and we're looking forward to that very much. As Joe mentioned, the foundation exists so that NCPD can exist. We are marking in this year our 30th anniversary of serving the church and supporting the needs of people with disabilities and their families. And our goal, as Joe said, is to ensure and make sure that children and adults with any disability, kids with autism, kids with physical disabilities who need to get into the churches, folks with mental illness, people who learn differently, and now, of course, veterans who are coming back with PTSD or brain injury and significant physical disabilities, that they can still meaningfully participate in their church communities. So that's our goal, is that everybody can contribute, be nourished in their faith, and then serve their churches. We also work with secular groups and other faith communities in disability advocacy to make sure that people get the services that they need to live in the community and fully participate in society. One thing that we're excited about, but Brian said, say real fast what one of the things you're doing. One of the things we're doing this year is creating an app for kids with autism to attend Mass in a way that'll be meaningful for them. So that's something we're excited about. So the need is great, and we appreciate the foundation so much and all their donations, their generosity, and all of those of you who've donated as well. And I just am really glad to be part of this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. You can take this back with Joe. We'll get a picture later. Thank you, Jan. She's our version of Mother Teresa. And that application might be available for me, maybe. I have a hard time with this new liturgy. A couple of people go to church, I can see out here. You know, giving a donation in front of Father Joe Carroll is like taking a 4-year-old to someone else's birthday party and they're wanting to know where their gift is, right? So for those of you that know Father Joe, I've known him for 39 years. Come on up, Joe, we'll give you some money now. And I'm always timid about giving him any money because he'll look at this and say, "That's all? All right, it's $5,000, okay, Joe? Tell us what you're going to do with this money."
Brian, touch me, I can walk again. I'm not sure if it was Brian or the $5,000. So I'd always walk for a mile for money, but that's all right. Many of you know I work with the homeless, and within, I think it's about 6-block walk from here is where our shelters are operated. An average day for us is about 3,200 people. We have a number of shelters, low-income housing. We're also the National AIDS Foundation. Through that, we run a lot of housing for persons with AIDS. We are the only hotel I know of that has 100% occupancy year-round. There is no set season for us. And to show you an idea of catering, we do about 4,000 meals a day. So our kitchens are going 24 hours, and we have a catering training school. So I do eat gourmet meals. But again, we want to thank you for $5,000 as your monthly payment.
Hey, Jan, can we get him a hearing aid? You know, thanks, Joe, for that. That was pretty good. You know, one of the things that I think is really kind of interesting and cool about Bob Donovan is the fact that there are people here tonight that are actually members of his organization. And I've got to tell you this little story. I was trying to get into a country club in Los Angeles called the LA Country Club. And Bob said to me, you know, I know somebody on the membership committee. So I called my sponsor and I said, hey, my friend Bob knows somebody on the membership committee. He goes, zip it. Do not call that person. Don't have Bob call, like, that will just kill the deal. So I went back to Bob and I said, no, we can't do that right now. So the process takes about 2.5 years. And you have to play golf with a lot of people and you have to know a lot of people. So Bob, every time I talk to Bob, how's that thing coming? How's that thing coming? And I said, Bob, it takes a long time, you know. So I get into this last section, you know, you sit down, and it's very intimidating. All the members of the membership committee are sitting around asking you questions. Your sponsors are on one side. You have sponsors on both sides of you. And this gentleman raises his hand and he says, I don't have a question, I have a statement. My friend Bob Donovan told me that you're like a really good guy and that you should be a member. And my sponsor looks over at me and says, I told you not to do that. And we walked out and I said, how did it go? And he said, it went well, except we're not sure how that comment's going to reside. Well, anyway, I got into the club. Thank you very much. And May and Yoshi are here tonight. Where are you? Stand up and be recognized. Yoshi is one of the members of Bob's group. A good man to know if you get sick in Los Angeles, I can tell you that. He works at Cedars-Sinai, and he can get you a good room or maybe an upgrade. Anyway, we are going to take a little intermission, have some dessert, and we'll be back with some other special guests.
This could only happen to a guy like Bob, and only happen in a town that's his. So let me say to each of you most gratefully, as Bob throws you, each one of you, a kiss. It is Bob's kind of town. Chicago is Bob's kind of town. Chicago is Bob's kind of people too. The people who, I mean, look at them. They smile at you, and each time Bob leaves, Chicago is tugging his sleeve. Chicago is one town that won't let you down. It's, come on, it's Bob's kind of town. Am I right? You guys having fun? We're hungry. This is Bob's kind of town. Chicago is Bob's kind of town. Am I right?
Bob Donovan in the house.
He'd rather watch me on TV. Razzmatazz. And it has all that jazz. And each time Bob leaves, Chicago is tugging his sleeve. Chicago is the Wrigley Building. Chicago is the Chicago Cubby. Chicago is one town that won't let him down. It's mine. It's my kind. It's Bob's town. It's his town. Chicago, Chicago. Let's hear from Bobby D. Surprise! My name is Adam James, and I'm a good old friend of Bobby D's. We went to high school together. I came down from LA just to be a part of this very special night and to be with the whole family. Hi, Sara. Hi. Great to see you. And I'm going to sing a couple of songs. Feel free to sing along. There's one word that's going to be repeated quite a bit, and it's got 3 letters. That's right. Let's hit it. Now, more than just jazz, Bobby likes a little, just take those old records off the shelf. He'll sit and listen to them by himself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like Bob's kind of rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? Call him a relic, call it what you will. Say he's old-fashioned, say he's over the hill. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like Bob's kind of rock and roll, don't you? Come on, Bob's kind of rock and roll. Kind of music just soothes the soul. Woo. Let's reminisce about the days of old. Who's you like rock and roll? That's right. Surprise. Woo. Miss Peggy Murilli on guitar, ladies and gentlemen. And funky old soul. There's only one sure way to get him to go. Stop playing old time rock and roll. I mean, look at him. He's Mr. Rock and Roll. We're talking about Bobby D here, the man who takes me on the Chicago Cubs and Blues tour of Chicago. That's what we're talking about. All right. Still like rock and roll. Soul. Let's reminisce about the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Still like Bob's kind of rock and roll. Come on. Bobby D on the saxophone, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't he fantastic? Unbelievable, Bobby D. The man. All right, I need everybody to sing with me. Rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. Let's reminisce about the days of old. I'm talking Bob's kind of rock and roll. Everybody here, still love that old Bob's rock and roll. Everybody, that kind of music just soothes the soul. Let's reminisce about the days of old. We're talking Bob's kind of rock and roll. Woo, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby D. We're gonna go up on stage if we can get up there. Rock and roll. Woo. I'm gonna need a guitar player for the next song. All right, who wants to see Bobby D play a little air guitar, a little rock and roll air guitar right here on our stage? I have a special song picked out. It's a song that kind of one of my first blues songs that I ever learned back when I was a little kid. And, well, I changed it all just for you, Mr. Blues. You ready? Hit it. Country boy named Bobby Be Good. Never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play guitar just like a ringing a bell. Go, 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 Bobby, go, go, come on. Go, Bobby, go, 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 Bobby, go, 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 Bobby, go, go. Bobby Be Good. Carry his guitar in a gunny sack. Track. Feel free to use the whole stage. Go down. Never ever learned to read or write so well, but he can play guitar just like a ringing a bell. Go, go, Bobby, go, go, go. aren't they great? You'll see your name in lights. Bobby gonna rock 'em town tonight. I lost it. Over here. Come on, go. Go, Bobby, go, go. Go, Bobby, go, go. Go, Bobby, go, go. Go, Bobby, go, go. Bobby, be good. Woo! Bobby D, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Bob. My name is Adam James. I'll be over at that table if you want to make some more requests. And I hope you all enjoy your evening, as I know I will. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Let's hear for Bobby. Okay, we're going to get rolling here a little more. Sara Donovan asked me to tell a story about Bob that I thought would be interesting. One of Bob's volunteerisms has been to go to a place in France called Lourdes, where people go on a pilgrimage for healing. And so Bob and Sara and I went one year, and you have to wear a special uniform, pretty much black uniform. And I told Bob the only thing he needs to do is to buy a pair of black comfortable shoes, because we'll do a lot of walking. You walk about 6 miles a day, and there's some hills, and we pull carts. We go to the baths there with the malades, who are the sick people. They call them malades in France. Well, anyway, the first night, I said to Bob, so how's your experience going? And he goes, you know, my feet are just killing me. I mean, really killing me. And I said, well, you know, you bought new shoes. You just got to break them in. So the next morning, Bob comes down to breakfast. I said, how you doing? He goes, well, he said, my feet were bleeding last night. I said, your feet were bleeding? He said, yeah. He said, I forgot to take the cardboard out of the shoes. Sara, are you happy with that one? It reminds me of when we were over in Lourdes. There were 3 cardinals, and the 3 cardinals were talking about their problems in the church. And after they got beyond the sex problems, they started talking about the real problems, which were they had some bats in the cathedrals, and all 3 of them were complaining about this. So the first cardinal said, well, I had a couple of drinks one night, got a shotgun, aimed it at the bats, missed the bats, and put a hole in the cathedral ceiling. So it didn't work. The second one said, well, I'm a little more humane. I put a net on top of the cathedral ceiling. I took the bats out to the country, let them free, and they beat me back to the cathedral. So the third one said, well, I have the solution. He said, I baptized them, I confirmed them, and I haven't seen them in church ever since. Anyway, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank my chapter. So I'd like to ask the chapter board of directors and committee chairs to please stand tonight that are in the audience. This is a very hard-working group. These folks are, they operate, the board operates like a committee. Everyone takes a piece of the work like I've never seen before. And I'm really very pleased with my new role as the new president. Tonight, I also want to recognize some sometimes unsung heroes, those people tonight who have served us. And I'd like them to come on up, and thank you for all the work that you did tonight. Graham, Adam, Corey, Brian, Cilio, and Megan, thank you.
Great job. Appreciate your hard work. I hope you guys get the gratuity from this. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good job. Great job. We appreciate all your hard work. I hope they get a decent gratuity on my $50 dinner. Tonight, we're very, I want you all to know how pleased I am as a volunteer with PCMA headquarters. We decided on this dinner over a year ago. We wanted to make it an announcement at the Las Vegas meeting. So we actually decided on it in November, and I called Deborah Sexton and told her what we were about ready to do, get her approval, and she was extremely on board with this. And also, I realized that tonight is her board dinner, and people like myself who are former chairman of the foundation and many others in the room, former presidents and chairpersons of PCMA, are all included in that dinner tonight. So we basically asked a little permission to have the dinner, and we even invited them, many of them, to come here. And Deborah said, you know what, we have to have our dinner, you have your dinner, but she is here tonight, and I'd like to ask her to please come up, and she's going to introduce a very special part of our evening tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce, for the first time this year, Deborah Sexton.
Thank you all for being here at PCMA's 56th annual meeting. I haven't been here for 56 years, but I feel a little bit like it anyway. We're ready to set some more records this year at this absolutely beautiful destination, so we're very, very excited. I'd also like to recognize Brian Stevens and the entire Southwest Pacific chapter for recognizing such a great leader within PCMA. I would also like to recognize the miraculous efforts and the miraculous results that this chapter has experienced in the last several years. 3 years ago, they were really suffering some major financial losses and some major membership issues, and they have turned it around in under 2-3 years. And I just want to congratulate the chapter for that. I wish I had the rhythm that Bob has, because this is going to be a problem. I can't keep up with this. But anyway, Bob Donovan, AKA Bobby D. I had an opportunity to review what many of his friends and business peers have said about him. And I, too, consider myself a friend of both Bob and Sara. But I've decided tonight to speak on behalf of the industry, and specifically PCMA. Hopefully, I will represent not only our board's sentiment, but the staff, Team PCMA's sentiment. Many of us have watched people, leaders, come up through the ranks, attaining chairmanships, directorships, or whatever that leader's path may have been. They are all important to the growth of the industry. However, many stop there. Not Bob Donovan, who in my opinion embodies the true meaning and spirit of leadership. Yes, Bob came up through the ranks, but he remains one of the ranks in that no task, no request from PCMA is ever denied. He doesn't know how to say no to PCMA. Bob brightens up a room when he enters. I sincerely wish more people had the passion, yes, passion, and commitment Bob has for the success and growth of our industry. PCMA needs more Bobs. Congratulations, Bob, And now, let's hear from Bob's friends and peers.
I think Bob's passion is to be authentic, loyal, and dedicated.
I think Bob is probably one of the most loyal, committed, dedicated people I've ever known. And personally speaking, he's been an inspiration for me.
Bob loves to mentor people without, an official title or program. He just does it.
He's very smart in dealing with people. He knows how to manage through the minutia to get to what needs to be done.
Bob is just an amazing person. He so represents our organization and our industry above and beyond reproach.
His contributions to the industry are well known. He continues to this day in helping the industry in any way that he can.
But what's great about Bob is he's willing to help anyone in any way, and PCMA in any way.
Bob benefits the American Hospital Association by his great networking ability.
Bob sets a standard. He recognizes good people, and he encourages all of us to aspire to be better.
With Bob, it's what you see is what you get. Although sometimes when he is with his PCMA friends, I'm not there to supervise, so maybe his behavior isn't as good.
But I think he just likes being out among people and being at whatever the event may be.
I think what's made me most proud of what Bob's done for PCMA is the fact that he has been involved with Network for the Needy and the Foundation Board and the Party with a Purpose, because he's never really looked for the glory for himself, and that I think is such a wonderful quality about him.
Bob has been a little bit of a role model for me in terms of giving back.
Bob benefits PCMA in so many ways. He's a passionate person, he's a motivator, he's a team player, he's well known throughout the industry, and PCMA benefits from Bob's presence on an everyday basis.
I do believe Bob has been a great mentor to many leaders that have followed him and will continue to be a leader in the future. Bob's passion for life really stems back to his family. And I believe that his love for the American Hospital Association is all tied to that.
It always amazes me how well Bob can balance PCMA, AHA, and all the time to spend with our family.
Will there ever be another Bob Donovan? I guess on the one hand I would say no. He is truly one of a kind, and yet I would say I hope there are more people like Bob Donovan.
Nobody loves like Bob loves. Food, people, places, things, and organizations.
There should be a lot of Bobs.
I think that they broke the mold after Bob. He's one of a kind, definitely. He's an asset to the industry. He's a very caring and thoughtful guy, and I wish there were more like him.
Without a doubt, the industry needs more Bobs. And to be successful and to grow and to thrive, we need more Bobs. We need people who are willing to step up to the plate, take on the role of leadership, and inspire others to want to come along.
I do think our industry and profession is blessed with a lot of people like Bob Donovan, and that's what makes, I think, this industry great. But there will never be a kinder, more considerate, polite, professional, funny person like Bob Donovan.
If I had to describe Bob in one word, it would be
loyal.
It would be kind, very kind.
Passion.
Generous.
Integrity.
If I had to describe Bob in one word, it would be loyal.
Fun.
Educator.
Icon.
Most people might use the word icon, but that probably implies old. So maybe Bob would prefer a leader.
Bob, I'm so happy for you that you're being honored by PCMA tonight for your service. I'm so proud of you for all that you have done for them, for all that you've done for AHA, but most of all, I'm so proud of you for what you've done for our family. You've made our family what it is. Thank you for everything, Bob. God bless you. I love you.
In the words of Patty Stevens, we need more Bobs. So there's a little button, I think, on your dessert plate. And Sara and I did not rehearse the loyal word. None of us rehearsed that, actually. Tonight, I thought it would be fitting to have a person who I consider to be a #1 leader in our industry introduce Bob tonight. This is a gentleman who was not only chairman of PCMA, but was also the founding chair of the PCMA Foundation. And if any of you have not met this gentleman, you need to get to know him. He's the real deal. And it's a pleasure to have him here tonight. He's a very good friend of mine and also extremely a part of the fabric of PCMA. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Noonan. I'll assist you with the award.
Well, good evening. This is going to be easy. I'm here to introduce a man to this audience that needs no introduction. I promised Bob that I would be brief, due to the fact that he's only being beatified and not canonized tonight. That's a little inside Catholic humor to those of you who don't recognize the reference. As a matter of fact, if there's anybody in the family that deserves to be canonized, it's Sara. Now, it's only fair to warn you that you are in some peril in the next few moments, for you are about to be subjected to not one, but two of the most dangerous forces in the universe, that being Irishmen with a drink in one hand and a microphone in the other. Bob Donovan has been in the professional association field for 42 years and the meeting segment of that industry for 29 years. His longevity at AHA is a testimony to dedication, hard work, organizational savvy, and wry good humor. His service to PCMA began in 1985 and extends to 28 individual positions within responsibilities held within that organization, including president and chair of the foundation. His service to the Greater Midwest chapter of PCMA began in 1998, and his service there includes 14 separate roles. As you've heard, Bob's service extends beyond our community and includes organizations focused on the disabled, specialty hospital development, and the homeless. President Harry Truman once described a man of his acquaintance with a phrase that befits our honoree tonight when he said, "He's a good man from the navel out." Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Donovan.
Thank you, Brian. Most appreciated. Thanks.
We'll get a picture later.
You're a good man. Thanks, David. Well, apparently you can fool all the people all the time. Before I begin my remarks, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear. This is not my retirement dinner. If I had $1 for everybody asked me in the last 6 months, why are you retiring? Why are you retiring? Are you retiring? I could afford to retire. I'm reminded of the character in the play Spamalot that keeps being dragged out the door and he keeps saying, "I'm not dead yet." And so I've decided that my mantra for 2012 is going to be, "I'm not dead yet." Well, let me start by saying how really flattered and and humbled I am for this evening, and some of the things have just gone a little bit over the top. You need to thank a lot of people for an evening like this, and I guess first would be the Southwest and Pacific chapter of PCMA for selecting a proud member of the Greater Midwest chapter for this award. Brought my homies with me. I also need to thank Brian, the major domo of this event, and I'm sure without his involvement, I would probably be sitting in the audience right now. I need to thank the sponsors, and I hope I can thank each of one of you personally, and I need to single out Peter Lynn and the staff of this hotel. It's been fabulous. I need to thank you for that, and all the hospitality and courtesies that have been extended to my family while we're here. Thank you very much. And Jim Holt and his team from AVMG, who did the video, did the slide, did all the presentation. There's a lot of things that come together in that, and I think they did a great job. And also Dan Johnson and American Audio Video Center for doing all this. It's made for a great evening, so thanks to all of you. And I need to thank Bill Medsdorf for that, I guess you'd say, humbling invocation. That was really something. And David Noonan for leaving the duck blind or trout stream or wherever you were to come to this dinner tonight. It's great to see you. It's great to have you back. So thanks for that. You know, and thanks for everyone who came here tonight. You know, sometimes you get invited and you say, well, what if we throw a party and nobody comes? And the seats are full, the room is full, and we made a few bucks tonight, and so everybody's happy. So thanks for coming and taking the time. And so thank you, everybody. Again, now's the part where I have to go off script and say I have to thank, I guess, Joe Popolo and Brian and people that contributed to NCPD, the National Catholic Partnership on Disability, a favorite charity of mine. And I know this is about raising money for PCMA, but I'm touched that NCPD was included in this, so thanks for that. And where's that little Canadian guy that sings? Jesus. Let me warn you, people, if you end up on a golf course with him, those hockey players, they can hit a golf ball, so don't press them after 3 holes, trust me. I think it's important tonight that we remember the people who helped us along the way. And I'm going to start with my parents. He's the guy that instilled in me the precious values of loyalty and hard work. He showed me how to treat others, and to the point where he insisted that you tip well, and that has served me well in this industry. And my mother, who was the epitome of Irish hospitality, and I think I exude some of her experience. And I want to thank my mentors. I think it's important to give back to the next generation, and I love to mentor people. I think that's really cool. Probably because I was mentored so well by so many. Too many to mention, but I'm going to single out a few, because I had the opportunity when I broke into this business to work with some real icons. And the first would be Ed Lanigan, who was instrumental in getting my job at AHA, and after 14 years in human resources, I guess the audition was over, and I got to work for him in the convention and services area. Ed taught me a lot. The first day I worked for him, he told me, you need to join PCMA, and you need to go to the annual meeting. And you know, and that was the good part. And then the bad part was, and you need to take your wife. And I'm like, oh God, it's in Hawaii. How am I going to afford to do that? But somehow I managed. We got off the start. But the thing I most remember about Ed Lanigan was the advice he always gave is never be anybody else but yourself. And I've remembered that to this day. And back in that day, we worked with a guy named George Schuyler, and George is a very, very creative person. And when we first came to AHA, he worked for us, and then he went to RSNA and grew that show from the Palmer House to the McCormick Place. And we all used to take our Thanksgiving vacations and go work at RSNA. And if George taught us anything, it's how to have fun when you work. In fact, you have to have fun when you work. And I think that's very important. And a guy named John Quigley, who was a true gentleman, who by the way he led his life and taught me the importance about ethics and doing what is right. And John was like a father to me. And I'm flattered tonight that Ed Weimer is here, one of the great bosses. How many bosses take you to the Super Bowl in 1986 and you get to meet the Refrigerettes? That is one of the many highlights of that weekend, let me tell you. But more than a great boss, he's been an inspiration. Ed, if you don't mind me saying, is 85 years old. He still works in this industry. He still does a couple shows a year. and still does his volunteer work for the AARP doing taxes. So thanks for being here, and thanks for being an inspiration, Ed. From all the photos we've seen tonight, I think you can tell that family is very important to me. And I need to give thanks to my 3 families. And the first family is my PCMA family. Since the first meeting I went to in Hawaii with Ed Lanigan, I felt like I belonged. It was just an organization that I loved. With Ed Lanigan and Ed Weimer's support, I became active. I joined a couple of task force and committee. I got to work my way up through the ranks. And PCMA gave me an opportunity to grow, and for that I am eternally grateful. And the friendships and the relationships I've made were just too much. I could go on and on, but suffice it to say, I love my PCMA family. I always have, and I always will. And my second family is my AHA family. And they've been a great employer for 42 years. It's been a great place to work. But since the first Christmas party, and we saw Tim up here with his little Santa suit on, PCMA has always been an organization that his family comes first. And I'll give you an example. One of the first people that called me after this dinner was announced was our CEO, Rich Umdenstock, who said, "Congratulations, well deserved. I know you want to go to bring your family to the event, so AHA is going to buy a table for you to make sure that happens." And it was a platinum table, by the way. So that's the kind of classy organization that I belong to. And my boss, Neil Jesuel, asked me about 17 times, "Do I need?" "No, you don't need to go, Neil. It's not important." And I'll tell you, Neil is here, Rich is here. They live in D.C. It's Saturday night. It's wild card weekend. And I'm impressed, and thank you very much, not only for being here, but for the leadership that you give AHA. You guys are terrific. And I can't forget Kim Baker, who is a much better wingman. She's a much better wingman to me than I ever was for Weimer. And she always makes me look good leading our team back at the office, so thanks for that, Kim. And lastly, but certainly not least, let me thank my favorite family, the Donovans. And I didn't forget to thank Adam. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little lost there. So let me thank my favorite family, and first my children, for being such good kids and for making me proud of the way they live their lives. Tim is the oldest. He's a smart guy. He's a great brother. He's a great son, and he's my personal Apple IT consultant. And that's very important, believe me. And he's very, very, like his old man, very overmarried. Lynette, his beautiful bride, is a terrific mom, a great support to Tim, and a wonderful, wonderful addition to our family. And our middle son is Mike. Mike is a rock star, and I think every family should have a rock star. He's the front man for the Sick Alps, which has been referred to by the San Francisco Examiner as San Francisco's lo-fi supergroup. The thing that's important about Michael is whenever he's in town and he leaves, Sara and I always say to each other, he is the nicest person in the world. I also will tell you that in the CD we gave you, there is a Sick Alps song on there, which is my favorite Sick Alps song, and it is my personal ringtone. And then our only daughter, our baby, Nellie. Nellie is the heart of our family, and I guess if you're looking for Nellie, you're probably going to find her with a friend, with a colleague, helping somebody out, babysitting, dog walking, whatever it is. She is, without a doubt, the greatest friend in the world, and she's an even better daughter. So thank you for that. And then I need to thank my 2 dinner partners tonight, Maddie and Riley, who are my granddaughters, and they accompany with AHA meetings, and they're really good kids, but if they really do put that video on YouTube of me dancing here tonight, you're sleeping in your own bed tonight, believe me. And that brings me to Sara. Sara deserves a major portion of this recognition tonight, and I say that in all sincerity. For 42 years, she's supported my career. She's been my moral compass. She's been like a mother and a father to our children. Not like a mother. She is a mother to our children and a father. I did travel a bit. She is the rock upon which our family is built, and she's the best partner that anybody could ask for. Thank you, Sara. And Sara, why don't you come up here? For those of you that don't know my first wife, she is, she runs our household. She works full time. She's a great teacher. She's a Golden Apple finalist. She's a daily communicant. She's run 31 marathons. Her last marathon, she finished third in her age group. So if you ever want to feel like an underachiever, marry somebody like this. So, well, I'm glad you're here, and I really need a Coors Light. So let's close. Let's close by saying and reviewing what's important in this industry and what we've learned from our teachers and mentors. And that is to be loyal, to work hard, tip well, be hospitable, have fun in what you do the right thing, find someone to mentor, love your family, and support PCMA, the greatest organization in our industry. And one more thing, please remember, I'm not dead yet. Thank you very much.
But I was born too late to play in the Rolling Stones. I don't know Jimmy Page, I never met Yoko Ono.